Well, good afternoon. 2:23 p.m. in the afternoon from Vernon, BC, British Columbia, in Canada. How do you like that? The weather's pretty good today. It's above freezing, and which we normally have in this part of the country. But it's going to turn really cold by I think the weekend, or beginning of next week again. Which is when I'm supposed to try to move into this care home, I guess, and Vernon Rest Home of all things. I told him when I was over there, I said, I don't know about this. I'm moving in with a bunch of old people. And he looked at me, and I just said, I'm just kidding. I'm most likely older than most of them. All you see in the background, see that right over there? That's Desert Cove. That's where I've been working for since 1989. Started right out there, right about there. I'd sit out there on 7th Avenue, right about there. And I'd sit there, and I'd come out and sit there. The thing was in receivership. The guy he got a heart attack, and he got sick, and whatever else. And I'd sit there and look at it, and look at it, and look at it, and there was 101 service lots, paved roads, service lots, power and water, and it's all around the golf course here and between the lake over here, there. So it's a very nice location. Right now, right today, January the 26th of 2023, there is 449 houses on the go, built, sold, whatever. There's 2 left to do. That brings it up to 451 homes. That's over 900 people, basically. It is now larger than the town of Falkland, which is 20 miles down the road. It's larger than that. Started with 0. And I sat out there on that road and paid and looked at it and looked at it. And actually, to be honest with you, I think I built it in my mind to start with, which is the way some people do. I got a hold of this guy eventually. He was a retired farmer from Dawson Creek. Very rich farmer, had owned lots of land up there, sold all this land to the Germans, and moved down to Kelowna. Or not Kelowna, Winfield, BC. Bought an acreage there, had his horses there, and whatever. And I got a hold of him, and he finally agreed to buy it. And I told him, I said, I'll build you a little city. He said, pooh. I said, yes, I will. I'll build an adult community here. And that's what's happened. The thing was, it was basically a godsend to me. I was a realtor in Vernon for 20 years, whatever. And so, I had built some condominiums in Vernon at one time. Anyway, I started out with one contractor from Kelowna, and I got so disappointed with him that I got rid of him, and I told the owner, I said, no, we can't do this. I said, I'm going to have to hire independent carpenters, contractors, and build the houses. We'll have to build all the houses ourselves. We can't have an outfit like that. So that's what we did, and we've done that right to this day. Now, I've had like 2 main building contractors. One was from Armstrong. Him and his mother. She was very interested in building. She was, a pretty husky woman. And she worked just as good as a man any day, and even maybe better, I don't know. Anyway, they built, I suppose, close to 100 and some homes. And they hired other contractors in between and around, and extra, like sometimes, because sometimes they had 3 crews going, and up to 22 houses on the go at once. by myself, totally by myself. I was selling, I was managing and building. But anyway, this one guy later on started. He was about 18 years old then. And the guy I sold it to, he said, "Oh, he's too young. He's no good, blah, blah, blah." And I disagreed. I said, "No, he's going to be really good." Anyway, he's now been there on and off, and mostly now, the last few years pretty steady, for 22 years. And you know, he's a very personable guy, and I liked him right off the bat. And I sort of took him under my wing, and I've treated him like a son, actually. And he's been very loyal to me. He's a good contractor. He takes all the courses. He keeps up to date on everything, and he's got here for a while. He had about 3 crews going, 3 or 4 crews. He's had about 3 crews going steady at Desert Cove alone the last couple of years. And I've arranged so that he was the main guy looking after all construction, and Desert Cove was paying him per house so much a house to look after construction. And then he got paid as a contractor too for building it. So he made good money. But the houses went up in price, you know, by a couple $100,000 during that period. Believe it or not. And I've been pushing the fact that I got to quit and leave in a couple of months. I don't think I can stay any longer than that. And I'm going to kind of move into this care home, and I guess I'll go out and, you know, I'll have breakfast, and then I'll go out to Desert Cove for a while and sit around the office and BS and talk and whatever till it's finished. That's what I want to do. This is the middle of the winter, so I can't really finish it right now. So beginning spring and on, it's going to be finished. And that'll be it. Now, that's been a godsend to me, because to tell you the truth, I built that whole place without interference from anybody. Government, anything, whatever, or the owner. I just built everything. Subdivisions, pump houses, water systems, big rec center with, I started out, I was going to have 12,000 square feet, because I knew he was want to cut it down a little. That's exactly what happened. He insisted on, he's got to cut it down to 2,000 feet, 10,000 feet. I thought, well, good, that's what I wanted in the first place. But anyway, it's got a couple of offices in it. It's got a pool, indoor pool, hot tub. It's got a big hall, dance floor, hall, blah, blah, whatever you want to call it. Craft room, exercise room, pool room, library, and a kitchen. It's big. Now, when people came out to Desert Cove, it's about 14 kilometers out of Vernon, and you can see it's between the lake and the golf course. It's a good location, good hideaway for seniors. Anyway, I basically said we're going to have a real meeting area for people to come out here, because they won't come out here just to sit in the house. They have to make it a community. And I was right, because that's what sold Desert Cove, was the community center, rec center, big community center. Everything goes on in there every day. The pool has got women in the morning, men later on. The women basically take over the whole damn thing, really. They're in the kitchen, they're in the dancing and doing that, and then they got their pool exercises. The men go in swimming and play pool. That's about it. And they go in the exercise room in the morning. But they meet there for coffee sometimes, and you know, and it's been a real meeting area. And I drew the plans up for that thing like in one afternoon, and I took it into a draftsman, and I said, draw me up construction plans for this building. And he did. And they were fine. He did a good job on it. And I used the same guys that I had building houses build the rec center. The same guy. And he built it so doggone good. And he was a good builder. You know, he was a young guy, but he was smart. When it was all finished, I got a hold of a structural engineer from Vernon, and I said, I want you to come out next and inspect this building and give a clearance on it. He came out and he looked all over, here, there, where. And he finally said, well, in the hallway, right in over the hallway, he said, I think maybe you should put another 2x10 up there to strengthen that archway. I said, fine, we can do that. That's the only thing out of the whole building. And, you know, I thought that's pretty good. Finally, this guy, after he was built 100 and some houses there, he couldn't get his mother to quit. So he had to quit. He quit so that she'd quit. He said, I can't her, and she won't quit on her own. I got to take that job away from her. I got to shut it down and go and do something else. I said, well, if that's what you got to do, I guess that's what you got to do. But he was another guy that was just like a son to me. I mean, he'd do anything I asked him. It didn't matter what. In fact, he used to sort of scare me. Yeah. And he was a very good-natured guy, young guy, strong, healthy guy. So anyway, that's part of the story of Desert Cove Estates. Now, you know, to me, I think I've been blessed with that. Not many people get a chance to build a little town on their own, with no, I mean, I didn't have to go to inspectors, all I had to do is follow the Canadian Standard Building Code, Federal Building Code. Well, we always exceeded that because we followed the provincial. And to this day, I've still got the same electricians that hired in 1989. I got the, pretty well, I think it was not 89, it'd be 1990, I got the excavating outfit, Wayne Watson Excavating, this was called. And his son was about 18 or 19, and he was running a backhoe at that time, and he was digging basements with a backhoe, but he was so good on the backhoe that he could just do it. He's been there all this time, except the last year, he quit, because he had been on this excavator so long that he was getting, I don't know, the machine was shaking all the time, and he couldn't take it. It was affecting his brain or something, and he'd just get all wonky, and he had to get off the machine. He couldn't stand it anymore, so he had to quit. Now his younger brother is on it. But that's a long time to have the same people around. Man, you know. So my time is coming to an end pretty quick. I'm going to go into the care home for 30 days. I'm not giving up this place I have. I've been here for 15 years. I'm not going to give it up until I've been there for 30 days and give it a fair shot. And if I figure that's the place I should be, then that's it. I'm going to stay. Up until then, I'm paying for 2 places. Getting pretty expensive. But I couldn't just pull a pin here and move over there without knowing if that's where I should be. So I hope it works out, actually. I do. I hope it does work out. Because I've got to realize that I'm coming 89 in a couple months. I mean, holy mackerel, how long am I going to go on here? You know, and I mean, I don't know. Who knows? You know, I'm very sorry that my wife died. When the heck was it? February of last year? February of last year, yeah. And she left actually in 2004, and I was so against that. I hated that she had that idea she was going to go live on her own and going to be free like her girlfriends. Ugh! I told her, I said, when you get old, that it's not good to be living alone. Well, I found that out. But I've survived it. I've cooked for myself for 15 years. I don't think I can really do it anymore. This is just, it's too hard. I can't. Well, one of my big problems is I can't smell. I never have smelled. So I don't know when I've ended up in the hospital food poisoning because I didn't know I was poisoning myself. So I guess it's really time to get out of here. But I'm leery of it. I hate to lose my independence because then I move over there. I'm not living alone anymore. I'm living in a home. But, you know, it's hard it's hard to come to grips with your own life sometimes. You know, usually it ends up somebody else telling you what to do. I'd like to do it on my own. I wouldn't like that at all. Anyway, that's enough. I don't know. Oh, 16 minutes? That's plenty good. I say thank you very much for stopping in. God bless you, and we'll see you again.